Get me in there too.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. Hi, John. Can you unmute?
That would be helpful, wouldn't it?
Here you go. Now we can hear you. Here he is at long last,
At long last.
looking good. Yeah, back from the AWP in Baltimore.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, that was
it's great to have you here on our. This is our 30th Lee County, New Mexico Voices podcast that we're doing. This is the 30th. It began just as a dream of two guys talking. Maybe we could do a podcast. And whenever we do them with anyone who is quote unquote long distance, we always use the Zoom feature. So we're very happy to have you here, and looking forward to what you have to say about poetry and life, and your very new book that has come out.
yeah.
Is that
March
right?
10th.
And I've got the collector's item. Yeah. It's such an easy word to misspell. Cemetery.
I Googled it and it's like, and it said most people misspell cemetery.
I'm sure. Yeah. I'm with my co-host here, Jack Campbell, and he said, "Yeah, I've misspelled cemetery like that," and I said, "I did too." But you're back from the AWP. Is the book officially out now?
Yes, it officially came out March 10th.
March the 7th?
10th.
The 10th. Okay. I'd like to get the volume up a little bit. Can we do that, Jack?
Let me see here. I think we're at max volume, but
Shall I scream?
yeah, we're at max volume.
You're at Matt. I can hear you, John. It's just it would be a little easier if I could hear you a little better.
Yeah,
Now that sounded
better.
yeah.
Yeah, we're at max.
Okay. See, we do not all of the podcasts, but we do many of them in it's like a coffee shop setting, and sometimes the espresso machine gives a blast.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. So the book came out March 10th. Do you have an idea of how it's doing sales wise?
My publisher on their website has the top 5 seller books on the top seller page, and my poetry book is on there. So
Good.
it's doing good enough to be on the top sellers list for my publisher's website.
Cool. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I may have to query you for some marketing promo tips in the near future.
All right.
But I was happy that I was able to write a review of your chapbook, The Side Effect Poems, that was recently picked up by the journal The Compulsive Reader, which that's a journal that specializes in book reviews too. I'm pretty sure, yeah. And now the review for House as a Cemetery is out, and we've got our fingers crossed that someone will take it. Yeah.
Yes.
Too.
Your reviews are very I very much enjoyed the reviews you wrote for me and stuff. They're very articulated.
I was telling Jack that you I don't think I said these exact words, but paraphrase it, that you you motivate me to try to do my best, and
Oh,
you're an inspiration, really, and in your, from what we know of each other, and connected through Facebook, etc., in your life, but also in your poetry.
mhm. Well, thank you. That means that I'm very honored.
You're what?
I'm honored.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, sometimes I'm from the country, and sometimes my words don't come out right.
Yeah.
So that was all on me.
Oh, okay. So, so you're in Kentucky?
Yes.
Not to digress, but I've spent exactly one day of my life in Kentucky, and it was beautiful where I traveled through, very woodsy, and
Hmm.
uh, I was raised near woods, so I like that. And then I
It's
checked into a motel and left the next day on my way to
it's
Arkansas, where I resided, where I was imprisoned in an MFA program for 4 years. I know
well,
your MFA poem in House is a Cemetery.
well, at least you came out of that on the other side normal.
I
You
survived
didn't
it.
die.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, John, could you give us a 5-minute bio of who John Compton is?
Yes. Give me. So I am gay. I'm married to Josh. I have 20 books published, or forthcoming. I have one forthcoming. So 19 books officially published and one forthcoming. I live in the country and the trees. I have dedicated my life to poetry. That's all I do. I do poetry. I tell people if it ended tomorrow, I'd just curl up in a ditch and die. Um, I've been doing it for over 20 years. I've been a poetry editor for magazine. I have a publisher. Um, I did a show called The JoJo Show, which I did over 100 episodes on, and you can watch those on Facebook, and there's a group. You just type in The JoJo Show and it'll pop up. Um, I have two I have two collections, hopefully forthcoming. They're at publishers. That's all I can say about that part. Secret. Um, uh, I'm 39. I love poetry. I'm a rebel. People get mad at me because I'm opinionated. Um, but yeah, that's that's about that's about all I think.
And also you're married, right?
Yes, married to Josh. We've been married over 6 years.
Oh, gee.
Yep.
And
We got,
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say we got married right before COVID, and then
Oh,
COVID happened, and so we got to learn each other real fast in the COVID year because we're basically locked in our house because everyone was.
yeah.
Uh-huh. But yeah, he's a gamer. He doesn't do anything with poetry. He plays his Xbox with them games, which I have no clue about.
Nor do I, but Jack does. So,
Okay.
would you identify as a gamer, Jack?
Uh, yeah, relatively old school gamer. Started out on PC, never got into consoles so much, but uh, no, old school adventure games, click and point
Mhm.
kind of stuff. Those were a lot of my games, flight sims and stuff like that. Um,
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say my expertise on gaming was when I was younger, my mother bought us a Nintendo and I was the duck hunter, and I
okay.
cheated. Yeah, I just put the gun to the glass of the TV and shot the ducks, and that's my expertise on games. I really haven't bothered with them since.
Well, you've done a little more than I, but shooting ducks at a screen, I guess virtual ducks.
All right.
Yeah,
I have a question.
yeah,
Okay. Now you're 40 years old,
Almost.
roughly.
roughly.
Okay. Now, when I grew up in the 70s, we had arcades.
Mhm.
We had video game arcades, where I grew up at. And no, you had Pac-Man, you had the Space Defender, all sorts of consoles,
Mhm.
upright things, pinball. Did you ever get to experience any of that?
No, I was never interested in it.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm the least bit interested in video games.
okay. As a
So I
kid, then,
married someone who loves all that.
as a kid, then what were you into?
Poetry.
Poetry. Okay.
Good for you.
I started writing when I was in high school in 2001. I was bored in class. It was like social studies or science or something. So I was just writing, and someone's like, "Oh, you're writing poetry." And I come from a country school, and we really didn't talk about poetry. So I was like, "Oh, what's poetry?" And so I looked it up and dove in, and I've never quit. I found Anne Sexton and Sylvia Plath and got obsessed, and then I dug everywhere I could and read everyone who I could, and that's been my life ever since.
Ah, how interesting. And John, I believe that when we first met on Facebook, you had mentioned to me that you got your GED.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got my GED, and I have no further education other than my own, studying and reading and working and practicing and all that. So yeah.
Wow, how interesting. And different people learn in different ways, I guess, but
Mhm.
you just you the quote unquote message I'm getting is the best way to learn how to write is to read.
Yes,
You
I
don't
tell
need it.
people.
You don't need an MFA program. You don't need a teacher telling you this is uh, what's that Robert Frost or Emily. You don't need a teacher saying to you, this is Emily Dickinson's poem, My Life Stood Like a Loaded Gun, and it's about these five things. And
Uh-huh.
you better memorize them and get them right for the test next week or something.
Exactly.
I mean, choking the life out of poetry.
That it does. It really does. Because you're forced to do it. You don't do it because you want to or it's fun. You're forced to. And I tell people when things begin to act like a job, it's no fun anymore.
Right. Yeah,
And
we have a lot of fun doing these podcasts.
and if it turned into a job, you wouldn't want to do it anymore.
Right. Yeah. And we get to meet you and other interesting people. We've done long distance ones with Mark Danowski, uh,
Hmm.
Mark in Pennsylvania, another poet John Yamris in Pennsylvania, another writer in Florida, and one in New York State. I think that you're maybe the fifth Zoom. I'm not counting, but um,
Oh, no.
getting
Yeah, Martin.
thinking of your recent achievements, I am very much looking forward to having a copy of the side effect poems in a larger book because I think it's such a uh, I think it's a brilliant sequence of poems. Really,
Well, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's that
yeah, they'll
very
be in the side effect poems will be in my next collection, Milk Scissors. So they're including that. But I wanted them as a chapbook because I really like that sequence and I didn't want to wait 3 or 4 years for the book to come out. So I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I gotta make this a chapbook so it can be out now.
I got to tell you something here, and I don't mind saying this, but one person who's published two of my books and published my most recent book, the founder of Anxiety Press, lives in Illinois, but he is from what I know, I don't want to misrepresent anybody. He is a diehard Kentuckian.
Oh yeah.
And he's not very old either. Well,
Mhm.
I'm 78. Everybody, Jack is young to me, and he's a little over 60. But Cody Sexton is kind of around your age, and I would encourage you to, I mean, he's a great guy, and for you, and you're both from the same quote unquote neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I follow Cody.
and another editor friend that I know a little bit, Haley Haugen. Well, she lives in Kentucky. Sheila Nagig Press.
Yeah. Yeah, I like them. Yeah, we talk occasionally. I've told them that we should meet up sometime because we live relatively close.
Oh, she's wonderful, Haley.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And something else comes to my mind. I remember back in the day, quote unquote, Robert Penn Warren was writing all these strikingly good poems very late in life. He's a writer. He started writing poetry like back in the 20s, 1920s, 100 years ago, and he kind of got away from it. But then in his senior years, he went back to it, and he's got some amazingly good narrative poems. I have to reread them. I have them at home, but another person from Kentucky.
It's shocking to find out. Like, I've lived in Kentucky all my life, and I don't think much of it because it's full of idiots. But then when you broaden your horizon, you find out all the people that are from Kentucky, and it's like, oh, there is hope. There is hope.
Well, Cody Sexton, and again, I believe Cody now resides in Illinois, but I just from things I've read, I mean, it means just like to me, I'm from New Jersey,
Mhm.
and it means something to me. It's a similar thing with Cody. Of Anxiety Press, and he's been very good to me, and he has a journal too, a journal, and he publishes books. Excuse me. I smoke myself, so
Oh yes,
tobacco industry is in Kentucky. I support it.
I have 4 vapes. I smoke so
Oh
much.
my goodness. Is that vaping?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have different flavors and different kinds. So I never get bored. Like, this is my new favorite. It's a hookah vape, and watch.
Wow.
It blows a lot of vape, and I love that. I don't know why that excites me.
I can understand as a smoker, I really try to curb my smoking at my age, but when I write book reviews, I'm having an intense experience, so I let myself smoke a little more. Yeah.
Uh-huh. My thing is when I'm driving, I smoke a whole lot more than when I'm just like hanging out at home. Like,
Huh.
driving makes me want to smoke like a freight train.
Wow. That's how interesting. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But not tobacco for you, just the vaping.
Well, now it's the vaping. It's for me. I like vaping because I don't have to smoke the whole cigarette. I can just take a puff every now and again. And with the cigarettes, I feel like I have to smoke the
Yeah,
whole thing.
sure. Or else you feel like you're throwing your money away.
Yeah. So yeah, the vape I can just take a puff every now and again, and I have 4 of them because for me, if I have one, the flavor dies out. After a while, you can't taste the flavor anymore. But when you have 4 different flavors, it keeps your tongue on point, and so the flavors don't go away because it's always different. Like with poetry, like with my poetry, I try not to like organize them the same, like with patterns and stuff, because every poem you read of mine is something different, so it keeps you on your
Oh,
toes.
yeah.
Speaking of which, when you're putting together the side effect poems, just give us a feel of how putting those poems together. Um, what was going through your head or your heart? Just give us a sense of how putting that together worked for you.
Well, I wrote so the first poem in it is the first poem I wrote, and the last poem is the last poem I wrote. And there's probably one or two more, but I deleted them. But so I have recently I've gotten physical health issues, and I already have mental health issues, and I wrote a lot about my mental health issues. And so I sat down one day and I was like, I want to write about my physical health. I never write about that. And all of a sudden, they just started pouring out of me. And I wrote all of them in like 3 days. And then, I edited, I took some
Wow.
more time to edit them. But the bases of them all came out in about 2 or 3 days.
Mhm.
And me, when I write a poem, I'm a very horrible poet. So if I write a poem and I do like, the structure of it, the first draft, I'd start the poem and finish the poem in one setting. And if I don't finish the poem, I usually delete it because I don't like to come back to it and finish the poem later because I'm a different person. I mean, I'll edit the poem later, but the basis of the poem has to be there in one sitting. So yeah, I just sit down and I would write a title out and I'd be like, like side of back to thinking, and I'd be like, all right, so what issues do I have with thinking? And I just wrote and whatever, and they just poured out, and it was such a fun process, and it was so easy to write. So these poems just flew out of me, so it was very exciting. Because before that, well, I have like in the collection, I have probably like 5 poems before the side effect poems, but I hadn't written anything in months, and then
Huh.
all of a sudden, like the whole thing, and actually the whole part of Milk Scissors, um, the second part, I wrote like 50 poems in like 6 weeks maybe, and they just like flooded out. And since then, I've written like 3 poems in like this whole year, so I've written nothing again hardly.
Huh.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the process. I got like I was, it's very frustrating. My physical health frustrates me a lot, and in order sometimes to make myself feel better, I just write it out. And so it was a process to learn and to understand for myself, like with all of my new, because I have peripheral neuropathy is one thing, and then I have AFib and DOE for my heart. But my neuropathy has like a subgroup of like 30 side effects or so. There's so many. And it's so annoying and I'm so over it. So I'm like, I have to write about it. Otherwise it's gonna drive me insane.
Boy, and you wrote about it so well. I is it's there's a certain there's like so much personality in it that it's an impersonality. And you're saying, I don't know, I'm just giving you my impressions, of what I experienced having read the side effects poem, and I read it at the core. The core is like it's like a big gym, and I read most of it on like a pedal machine, and I got used to it. But I read it. Matter of fact, I just read the whole sequence this morning. But I really it made me want to know this person. That's why. Well, I think we met, and then right after that, you sent me the side effects. But I feel good to know that they're going to be in a larger book. What's the name of the larger book that's coming?
Milk Scissors.
Okay.
And that title, I have no clue where it came from. All of a sudden, I thought of Milk Scissors, and I'm like, the words sound fun together, and they're fun to say, and that's how that title came to be.
Oh, wow, how neat. Um, I have a question for you. And I do want before, I told you about our 45-minute deal. And is it
Yeah.
set like that, Jack?
Yeah, we're
Because I could
about
talk
like
for an
5
hour and 45
We
minutes.
got
Oh, I
about
could talk
5
for
minutes
3 or
before
4
she
hours.
kicks us off.
We got about 5 minutes before Zoom kicks us off. Dawn. Well, I wanted to ask you to read a poem from the book. but we don't have enough time, but because it would be a whole different podcast really to do it justice. But I was going to ask you to elaborate on your identification as a gay poet, because I think it would be interesting for me to hear your answer and to give you feedback, too. But can we do that shortly before and still have time?
Yeah, as a gay, that's a fun, and I never thought of myself as a gay poet until like after I started publishing and stuff.
Yeah.
And people were like, "But that's who you are." And so I like came into it and stuff. But it's I don't. It's a hard question because I don't think of myself really as a gay poet. I mean, I
Okay.
am a gay poet, but I just try to write poems.
Uh-huh.
The poems are about myself, which tend to be gay because I am gay. So yeah, so I never set out to be like, oh, I'm a gay poet. I'm just write poetry about myself a lot. But then I try to make them broaden so everyone else can understand them or put themselves into the poem or whatever. But that's a really good question, and it's a hard question because,
Yeah.
I just happen to be gay and a poet, so therefore my poetry is gay.
I had a role model shortly after I started writing poetry, um, and a person who was a poet who happened to a gay man,
Mhm.
somewhat older than me, and you could not have had a better role model. Um,
Oh.
but I saw his poems change. This is back in the 70s,
Mhm.
when he all of a sudden started writing poems that let his audience know I'm gay.
Yeah.
His poetry before that, he was writing about other things. And I'd sit there and listen and sort of go to sleep. And then all of a sudden, says, "Oh yeah, Jim White, James L. White, his name was. He's from Indiana, lived in Minneapolis, and passed away there in
Mhm.
1981." But all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, this is exciting. This is passionate. He's writing about stuff that
Mhm.
it was just taking the top of your head off. And before that, the poems to me were, if I were reading them on the page, I'd be going, okay, let's go to the next one. I mean, much more could be said.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
when I first started writing, I tried to just be a poet and not write about, the gay. And someone's like, "What is wrong with you? You're gay. Like, write what you know. Don't write what you don't know." And I was like, that makes sense.
yeah, you could spin it too. In some ways, we write about what we don't know, or we learn something new from an old situation. Could
Mhm.
could you read? Do we have time,
Yeah.
Jack? Could you read, if you have it with you, John, please? But what about, my love letter to pride? I was going to ask you to read a longer one, but since we're talking a little bit about that.
All right, here it is. So, my love letter to pride. Society, I will never be what you've planted. A quiet sound at the edge, the hidden dying ripple. Rather, I am an asteroid, an ocean. Deal with me. I will seize your city, plant words in every inhabited region, and let a forest with my gay poems breed into a colossal library no world has ever known. And that's that poem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, we just got the notification that Zoom is about to kick us off.
Oh, it is.
And
Darn.
so,
John?
we probably need to go ahead, end it here. But thank you for your time today. And
And
thank you
thank
for
you.
giving us more insight into your poetry. Um, a pleasure to meet you today. Hopefully we may be able to do another podcast in the future.
That would be great.
I think that would be a wonderful
We'd,
thing to
we'd
do.
love to.
Yes.
So, thank you so much, John, for gracing us with your time today. And For Lee County Pod, this is Jack Campbell signing off. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. And now. Exit. I don't know how to leave. I don't know how to leave this.